Luke chapter 5, verse 1 through 8, they're going to put that up in the NIV translation. One day as Jesus was standing by the lake, the people were crowding around him and listening to the word of God. He saw at the water's edge 2 boats left there by fishermen who were washing their nets. He got in the one boat, the one belonging to Simon, and asked him to put out a little farther from the shore. Then he sat down and taught the people from the boat. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into the deep water and let down your net for a certain catch." Say that's a certain catch. Simon answered, "Master, we have been working and toiling all night and haven't caught anything. But because you say so, I will net down a net." When they had done so, they caught such a great number of fish, verse 6, that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boats to come and help them. And they came and filled both boats so full that they began to sink. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord. I am a sinful man." In other words, Peter was very overwhelmed. I want you to say, follow the favor of God. It's an interesting thing about how God works in our lives, that as I've studied the Bible since I was a teenager and then going to Christian university and speaking as I have for all these years, when you study biblical characters, male and female, from Old Testament to New Testament, you will find constantly that God will call people to an upward calling in a downward time. Somebody say, upward calling, downward time. So what do you mean by that? You might have a bad knee, but God will call you to do something big. They may be saying recession is coming, but yet God will make you rich in the midst of a recession. You may be having problems with one of your children, but yet God will bless your marriage. So God will call people many times to an upward calling in a downward time. Somebody just say, that's good already. So let's give a few examples. Moses had killed a man, and he was running for 40 years. God comes to him in Exodus chapter 3 and calls him to an upward calling in a downward time. And he says to him, now is a time, now is a season for you to get up and out, because I've heard the cries of my people. Sometimes the reason God's calling you is because someone else is calling him. Okay, let me come over here. I got to say this. Sometimes the reason he's calling you is because somebody else is calling him. See, where we miss it is we think everything's singular about us. I don't look as young as I used to. Come on. I have 3 gray hairs. Come on, people. Should I get Botox? I'm 22. All the thoughts that go through people's minds, they think singular, but you have to think how God thinks. He thinks plural. He thinks blessed to be a blessing. So many times when you're looking at your own difficulty, God is hearing the cries of people, and he says, yeah, they're in a difficult time, but I need somebody that has a heart for people that are in pain. So it happens in the life of Moses. It happens in the life of Gideon, where Gideon is hiding in the winepress, and he's feeling like he's not in a good place. But God says, now is the time, and I've called you to do something. And then Gideon says, you know, I wish I could do it, but I'm in therapy. And I am from the tribe of Manasseh. I am from the weakest family. God, you must not have Googled me. You must not have seen my Wikipedia page. Because had you really studied me deeply, had you tapped me into to Chat GPT, you would have found that I'm in a bad place. To quote this song by U2, it's called "You've Been Stuck in a Moment and You Just Can't Get Out of." So it's amazing how God will call many people that are stuck in moments. Moses was stuck in a moment for 40 years. Gideon was stuck in this moment, in this setback moment. Barak in the Bible is stuck in a moment. But yet Deborah comes to him and says, God says to you, we need you to lead the people. And this guy Barak says, I can't do it. I'm not in the right place. It's not in order. I don't have everything figured out. I don't have everything together. See, as we close out this year, most of us have some loose ends. But you have to understand that God calls shaky people to do sturdy projects. So God comes to a guy by the name of Peter, who's going to play a very big role in the New Testament. Pastor Stefan has done some amazing teaching on Peter, and Peter's a very interesting disciple. He's a very knowledgeable person. He's running a very good business. He's a fisherman, and he has people working for him. So he's more knowledgeable than some people give him credit for. The Holy Spirit uses him to write 1st and 2nd Peter. I want you to catch this. But the Peter that we find today is a Peter that is, watch, just living his life. But God decides to interrupt his life and give him a promotion. So I have a question for you. Would you be open to God interrupting your life and giving you a promotion in 2024? I need you to clap real loud. Like, would you be, keep on clapping. Would you be open to God interrupting your life and giving you a promotion? So I was studying this word. When God transitions somebody, he changes you. He alters you. He modifies you. Watch this. There's a revision. There's a metamorphosis. I believe in every one of our lives that God is about to give you an upgrade. Now, based on what? Based on the scripture where it says that God will take his people from glory to glory. And in the actual Hebrew, it means he will take you from dimension to dimension to dimension to dimension. I was watching on YouTube this morning on how these waves have hit California. So all the way from San Diego all the way to the furthest north of California, these mega waves have hit. And I like to go to this one scenic place in Laguna Beach where some of you have been before. There's a restaurant, Las Brisas, there. And even in that area, these waves have hit so big, people were screaming. And one lady was screaming on YouTube, "What is happening?" And so they said, biggest waves in 10 years. And then they said, they came out of nowhere. The swell came out of nowhere. See, God is allowed to bring a swell out of nowhere. God is allowed to bring new waves of blessing to your life that you never even saw coming. I think you should clap real big. Come on, people. So watch. So in getting ready for this message, I said, so what are some of these people doing in the midst of this swell? Some people are screaming. Some people are hiding. Look at me. Some people are saying, how far is it going to come? Is it going to go miles in and get all of us? And then some people were surfing. So they interviewed all these surfers, and the guys were basically saying, dude, this is gnarly. They were at the famous Wedge in Newport Beach. Guys, look it up. It's all over YouTube. And the guys were going, gnarly, dude. And one guy came out of the surf, and his surfboard was broken in half. He goes, look at this, how awesome. The wave was so powerful, it broke my surfboard, dude. So some people were complaining because of the swell. Some were hiding because of the swell. But some said, let me get my surfboard and let me ride these waves that we have not seen in 10 years. I prophesy God is about to give you a supernatural wave in 2024 that you have not seen in years. You should clap your hands and shout. But a change can look different. An alteration could be different. A modification could be different. Could be different. I remember when my sister, Pastor Paige, when she decided to school me on cleanliness, on how to clean my room when I was younger. And I was probably about 9 years of age, and I had a room like most kids where I had left a few things around. And I remember her walking in and saying, "Timmy, can I help you out with something?" And I said, yeah, I'm listening. And she says, "See these pants right here, and then you see that shirt right there, and then you see that right there." She goes, "Let's see how long it takes to make this place look clean." She threw me off. Come on, people. Now, we were very, very disciplined because you know that I talk a lot about my mother, Vesentita Gonzalez, and she taught us don't do a half job. So we had a very clean house. Are you with me? But Paige didn't like stuff there even for a moment. And my mother was very distracted because she had 5 kids and she worked at Winchell's Donut Shop. But Paige, you know, she had jobs, but she had time on her hands to look at her little brother's room. And I remember when she said, "Let's just try to clean it up. Let's just see." And she goes, "Okay, watch this, and we can hang this up, and then we do that, and then we could do this, and then we can do that." And she goes, "See how much better you feel?" She came in and she transformed me. She taught me a different way of living, of space. She later becomes an interior designer, transforming spaces. See, God is coming in and transforming you in your mindset, in your spirit, in your thought life, in your idea of what He could do. He is changing you, modifying you for something beautiful that is about to occur. You should clap your hands and shout right there. Come on, people. So God the Father speaks to the Son, and the Son comes, Jesus, to Peter and says, "Peter, do me a favor. Could you cast out your net for a catch?" But it's a certain catch. The word certain in the Greek means free from doubt or reservation. A confident catch. A predestined catch, an inevitable catch. When I was in college, in Christian college, I was praying one day and I said, "God, it'd be awesome if I helped 3,000 people one day." And then I felt like the Holy Spirit was saying that was not enough. And then I said, "How about 30,000? And that's not enough." And then I wrote down 3 million, and I felt like God was downloading. That's a good start. But at that time, I was just a kid in college with a big Bible and a dream. But I wrote this little sign, and I actually took it to a printer, had it done, and it said, "Yes, you can. 3 million souls studied to show thyself approved unto God." Book of Timothy. And I put it there my freshman year, because I wanted to remind myself of who I would become. In that present moment, I was just a freshman in college looking to pay my bills. At that time, I had nowhere to speak, nowhere to share my message. We didn't know that I would unfold and become this guy known as Tim Storey. I was just in a place. Some of you feel like you're just in a place, but I'm here to tell you God sees the place that you're in. Peter felt like just a fisherman in a place, but Jesus comes to him and says, "Throw out your net for a certain catch, without a doubt catch, without reservation catch, a confident catch, a predestined catch." God has already predestined your January 2024. And wherever your feet go, you shall prosper. I think you should clap your hands real loud. Come on, even louder. I want to hear you. Come on, say, I believe. But you would think that based on the fact that Peter had a partial revelation that this was really the Messiah. At this time, he was not fully persuaded. He was partially persuaded. See, that's the challenge with us. There are some days you're fully persuaded that God is able, and there's some days because of what you're going through, you're partially persuaded. But maybe you've made big moves on days you were partially persuaded, and you should have waited for the day when you were fully persuaded. See, we could tell by your giving, if we all knew about people's giving even to a church, if they're partially persuaded that God is able or if they're fully persuaded. Look at me. We could tell by how you live your life and your attitude if you're partially persuaded or if you are fully persuaded. So Peter was partially persuaded, so he did things partially. I'm speaking this way on purpose because I want to upgrade you this year. Because God blesses what he possesses. Does he have a quarter of you? A half of you, 3/4 of you, or all of you? Somebody say, this is good. So Peter was partially persuaded about Jesus' words. And so he starts to argue with him. And he says, Jesus, I want to tell you something. I've been toiling all night. So I studied that word toil this morning again. And it means this. I've been working hard, vigorous. I've been doing demanding work, and I keep coming up empty. It's the Greek word kinos. I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel. Jesus, do you not see I have not caught any fish? Jesus, do you not see I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel? But Jesus is saying, I see something different. I see things from a supernatural position. I see things from a miracle mentality. What is a miracle, Tim Storey? Since you wrote the book, a miracle is something extraordinary, uncommon, not regular, not the norm. That's where you are heading in 2024. You should clap your hands and shout. Come on, shout real big. So he says, cast out your nets, N-E-T-S, plural. Peter does not do that. All the scholars say he cast out a net, singular. There were 3 nets in that size of a boat. Jesus said, cast out all 3 nets. Peter says, no. Here's what I'll do, because I love you enough, I'll cast out one, see how that goes. He cast out a net, and the true translation in the Greek is, and the net got so full that the net was overflowing. But what if he had cast out all 3 nets? What I'm speaking to you about is missed opportunity. Partial obedience, partial blessing. Full obedience, full blessing. See, there's a difference between a CVS cart and a Costco cart. I was at CVS the other day. Can you please put on the screen what I got from CVS? I'm just teasing. You guys are nosy. You're like, what did he get? What did he get at CVS? You really thought I was going to put it up there, huh? What's wrong with you? But I needed a cart. I didn't have, just a little bit, so I couldn't do the little one they put here, like the women have. I needed the cart. But it was so small, right? very small. So I had that little cart. I was, look at me, a big guy with a little cart. That's how some of you are. You're big people with little carts. I looked funny. And then, Manny, I got recognized in the CVS. But why couldn't it be by a petite woman? No, it was a burly guy. He came up, he goes, whoa. I said, what? He said, whoa. I said, what? He says, Tim Storey. I said, that's right. He goes, oh, my God, man, I'm a fan. I like you. Man, you're awesome. I was feeling good until I thought about my little cart. But you go to Costco, they have no little carts. So I talked to somebody who worked at Costco, even in management, and they said no such thing as little carts, because why? They want you to buy in bulk. It's good, right? So you have big Costco-size carts. Somebody pay attention. And that's why you feel prone to put things in the cart you don't even need. You're like, maybe I need a fan. A refrigerator. A washing machine. God was trying to get Peter to Costco size. His cart, his vision, the way he saw things. So he comes to him and says, I'm going to call you to an upward calling in a downward moment, but what I'm going to need is I'm going to need your cooperation. So let me tell you what God's looking for. God is not looking for you to create your own little storyboard without asking him. Please don't sit here at midnight tonight and just with a big cardboard wondering, what am I going to do? Your angel will hit you. Menso, pay attention. Mija, the Lord has gone before you. No, stick with us. Could you imagine us with our limited minds trying to come up with a storyboard for 2024? Oh my gosh, I have so many ideas for 2024. I'm going to go to Italy and then I'm going to get my hair redone. And then I'm going to get permanent eyebrows. And let's pick on the guys for a second. I'm going to get a truck. Babe, that's my goal. Totally going to get a truck. I see it. I've been watching all the guys on YouTube. I've envisioned it. I've seen it. I've spoken to the universe. Your angel just wants to go, pah, poosh. The ghetto ones want to go, pah, and pile drive you. Somebody clap like we're learning something. Come on, people. Come on, people. Who are we with our little storyboards? When you are made in the image of God. I was speaking to 38,000 Catholics in the Philippines. And I was rocking that place. I was 33 years of age. I was rocking it. I was rocking it. And a rainstorm hit. It was outdoor. And just the rain hit. And all the people were getting all scared and everything. And one of the guys goes and says, okay, get off the stage. We're going to cancel. I go, you get off my stage. I didn't fly all the way from L.A. to get canceled. The people went wild. You could feel the Spirit of God. I said, people, jump if you feel His presence. Do you feel the reign of God? They were jumping. They were going crazy. Did you get electrocuted? No. But in that moment, you got to pay attention. Like, what's the good idea? What's the God idea? Should I get off the stage because it is raining and you have a live mic? Watch. But I really felt the Lord say, this is me. I'm bringing rain to this place. I wouldn't get off the stage because at that stage in my life, and at this stage in my life, I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm all in even when I got a big Costco cart and there's nothing in the cart. And my dream is not working. And my body did not get instantly healed. And my family did not get instantly fixed. I'm still in because I have a word from God. Somebody clap your hands and shout. So let me quote a famous minister. He says this: sometimes all you have is a word from God, but a word from God is enough. Look at me. Sometimes all you have is a word from God, but a word from God is enough. Peter, throw out all 3 nets. Sometimes all you have is a word from God, but a word from God is enough. It's what's called in the Greek a rhema word. It's a rhema word. It's a God word. It's a word that's alive. See, the reason I've stayed alive in my faith like this for so many years is because I live off a live word. No, I live off a live word. So I take you into my private life. To stay alive, I study 7 days a week. Already this morning, I've studied 2 hours. This morning, I study 7 days a week for 1 hour every morning. Why? To stay alive. Not to speak a message, but to stay alive. What do you mean by that? Because I'm tempted by what you're tempted by. I'm tempted to think, why did my dad die at that age? Why did my brother die from that situation? Why did my sister Viola die in that situation? Why is this wrong? Why is this? Why did this happen? How come? I'm tempted to be that way too. But I got to go to Romans 12:1. I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto Him, which is your reasonable service. And do not be conformed to the pattern of this world. Look at me. One thing you will see from me: I'm not normal, and I will never be. No. Tim, why don't you slow down on the God side? You're doing so well. I speak at all these secular events, and these Christian people say, I was kind of shocked that I felt the Lord even as you were speaking at this secular event. I said, that's interesting. I don't even debate them. I just said that's interesting. Because I'm not shocked. Because God is on me. God is in me, and God is coming through me. God is on you. Come on. God is in you, and God is coming through you. Somebody clap your hands and shout. Come on, I got 4 more minutes to finish this. Be not conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Peter, the fisherman, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to prove what God's will is. That's all I want for you. God's good will. Say good. Say pleasing. Say perfect. Wow. Tim, you should get your own airplane. All your friends got an airplane. I don't know. Is that God's will for me? Tim, you should. Oh, my God. Look what so-and-so's doing. Did you see that? It's awesome what they're doing. I don't know. Is that God's will for me? Maybe I still enjoy going into the prisons. Maybe I still like going to the orphanages. Maybe I still like going to the old folks' homes and speaking to people because I feel like it. Maybe I still like life coaching people for free. No. Because I get people on a weekly basis that come with their idea on how they can help me. Oh, my God, you're doing good, but we could scale you. We could scale your business. Means like that. We're going to. Maybe you weren't there in college when God spoke to me about Mark 10:45, that Jesus came not to be served, but to serve. A guy came to bring food to my house the other day. And he brought the food. I said, hey, come back here. He looked nervous, watch. And I said, do you speak English? He goes, I said, where are you from? He says, I said, where are you from? He said, Turkey. I said, I was just there. I was in Istanbul. And I said, I just want to give you $100. So he took the 100 and he understood that. Comprende? He understood the 100. Look, he took it. And then he started to cry. And then he hugged me. We could not speak the same language, but we understood what just happened. See, so I'll never know why he cried. I'll never know why he got so excited. But I knew that I was supposed to say, hey, and give the delivery man an extra 100, even though we had already tipped him on the app. Somebody pay attention. Close with this, watch. Peter cast out the nets, plural, for a certain catch. They catch so many fish. You know what I see for you next year? So many. Come on, keep on clapping. Katana, can you come out here? Keep clapping. I see. Keep on. Come on, clap. Somebody watch it online. Clap. If you're driving, don't clap. If you're driving, don't clap. Keep your hands on the wheel. Peter caught, look, say so many. Look at me. But you don't know what I'm going through. God does. And he's still showing you so many. He caught so many fish that his net began to break. It's called overflow. Someone's about to get an overflow of joy. Someone's going to get an overflow of peace. Someone's going to get an overflow of strength. Someone's going to get an overflow of goodness. I'm done speaking. Clap your hands like you're going to get